Starseeds this, Starseeds that. What does it even mean? I don't know about you, but I always had this feeling that I was not from this planet. It's very unrealistic for you to act on that information. You know, it's something that's just lingering in the background. But in 2020, this is when my galactic awakening started to happen, and beings started to really contact me. Many other starseeds had this activation in 2020 as well. So when all of this started happening, I go, of course, it makes sense. But it was also surreal. I was like, wow, I kind of always knew this, but like this is actually happening in real time. And it was cool. It was exciting, but it also really rocked my world in a lot of ways, which is why I want to talk about what it means to be a star seed, things you could be experiencing, how to navigate it, and really how to start integrating and grounding this into a digestible part of your life as a human. This is really important. I'm hearing, okay, I feel the Galactic Federation here with us. We have something called the Starseed program. And this is when various beings from many different star races volunteer themselves to be a star implant on certain worlds to activate planetary consciousness. So many of us who are star seeds, we are not just assisting Earth, or Earth is not the only planetary civilization that we've assisted. There are many other worlds. There are many other star systems, galaxies, and civilizations that you may have assisted in their ascension process. This can work in a few different ways. Some of us are working with past and future versions of our star selves who download, translate information to us. And then some of us, we actually have a present self. So like a present parallel self that may be, in a starship or something like that. And your body's in a pod so that your consciousness can be streamed into this physical body. So I'm getting a vision of the movie Avatar, right? They really displayed this quite well. So in Avatar, we saw these tall blue beings, those bodies be able to be inhabited by human consciousness. And then we saw them in the pods and the whole thing. Okay. So think that was channeled to the creators and writers of that movie. There are different ways that your soul's energy can be showing up here. And I'm even hearing there's a such thing as a combination of these things happening. Now, a question that people always ask me is, well, how do I know which star family I'm connected to, which group of beings? Okay. Well, just flat out, clearly, easiest step, I would work with a galactic channeler. We have a lot of folks who are very good at that. I would work with a past life regressionist for you to get clear on specific energies. Now, what I've seen in doing this work as a galactic channeler and someone who, will just get the information, there are more than one groups that you can be connected with, but the energy that's showing up right now as the most dominant depends on which phase of your soul map you are in. And your soul map is simply a map or layout of milestones and things that you are here to accomplish and do. And at a specific point, an aspect of yourself or a specific star family may come in because they have the expertise in that area, or maybe there's even some contractual agreement. So for me, groups that I work with the most, my main group are the Arcturians. And this is because in my most recent sort of timeline as a galactic commander, I was on the Arcturian Council and worked for the Galactic Federation. So this is the group, right, that I have more of a soul contractual agreement to seed my energy here and be here. Now, another group that's very dominant for me is Lyra. And so I had, many connections to Lyra millions and millions and millions and millions of years ago. Some of you might remember me from that timeline as I'm saying this. However, so that energy, right, that feline energy shows up for me a lot. And then I have other past lives where I've recalled myself as a feline being here in some of the Egyptian timelines as well. Those are the two main groups. Then we have Sirians, Pleiadians, etc. And again, those folks come in at different points for different things. Okay. So understand that you are a multidimensional being. That's the whole point. That's what we're getting at. You're a multidimensional being. And more than likely, you are not just one thing. You've been many things. Now, I want to do something to assist you here. I want to call in the galactic frequencies that are most relevant to you in this incarnation or at this particular phase of your ascension cycle. Okay, so inviting you to close your eyes. And okay, we're gonna connect with a couple of groups here that are just coming into the field. We have blue Avians, we have Sirians, we have Lyrans, we have Andromedans, we have Arcturians, we have Pleiadians, we have Orions, just making sure all the beings are present, groups are present that would like to make connection. Okay. And they're saying that's good for now. Okay. So these are the 7 main sort of races. And by the way, the Galactic Federation is wanting us to know there are so many other races that we have not been allowed to recall as of yet. And we mean like hundreds of different star races. Okay. But these are the main ones that are sort of in a contractual agreement to assist Earth in its process, which is why these are the names that we have in our collective knowledge bank. So what we're going to be doing is one of those names is going to be placed in your consciousness as the dominant energy you should connect with that is assisting you at this time, okay? First, feeling the energy of love, unconditional love surround you. And this energy coming into your awareness in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And a light language transmission to further solidify this activation of remembrance. Kiko tarakato korkata shakatra satara shakatra katare e karkata to korakatara saratara yashatria to korakatara ratatataka shakata durki. Feels like the Arcturians are leading in that transmission. And they're just saying, dear ones, we've been waiting for you, waiting for this connection. If you're watching this video, we've been waiting for this connection. We've been waiting for you to remember a bigger part of who you are, okay? So the Galactic Federation at this point wants to talk more about who they are. When a civilization, a planetary consciousness reaches a height in its evolution, naturally it will begin to explore, right? It wants to explore, it wants to go out into the cosmos. The civilization will shift from being about sort of like in its infancy, where humanity is in terms of working out kinks in its own consciousness. It'll evolve past that point, and then it will become about venturing into the universe, understanding the universe, seeking out other planets, understanding what's happening in the cosmos to help maintain the balance, and to ultimately connect with other beings who are expressions of divine source and learn and co-create, okay? These civilizations have all sort of reached that point in their evolution. Millions and millions of years ago, they're giving me, okay? The Pleiadians are a little bit younger, but nonetheless still very, very, very long time ago. And once that started happening, right, these beings will come across other worlds. And so as this started to happen, the need to create a joint forces of benevolent beings who wanted to uphold and maintain the balance of light and dark in the universe was formed. So the raw truth is we have benevolent beings. We have beings who are more neutral, meaning they are still figuring out what they believe. They're not necessarily serving the light, but they're not necessarily serving the dark. That's just how their consciousness has evolved. And then you have the malevolent ET races who they operate in what we call more service to self, right? The belief here is that through free will, right? Because that's a universal law of creation. We all have free will. Well, if I have free will, I can do whatever I want to do. But the distortion in that construct is whatever you do to another, you also do to yourself. And that is something that they have not learned. Okay. So you have benevolent beings who have come together to form a federation. And by the way, there are many other groups and councils, but to form the federation. So you have hundreds and hundreds of star races who agree to be a part of the federation, symbolizing their commitment and their devotion to love and light and oneness, the law of one. You as a human are a part of bringing that declaration of truth to this civilization that is still in its infancy. So signs of being a starseed, you always felt like the technology here was so behind. I like to joke about this, but I promise you, I feel like when Uber Eats and Instacart and like all of these things started, coming out, I was like, of course. I was like, we should have had this like 30 years ago. Like, I don't understand. I always felt like technology was so old. And I would be like, we should have already had this. This is like so, this feels very archaic to me. So maybe you haven't been impressed by the technology on Earth. There are some things you just think we should already have. And it's like, it doesn't, you're like, of course, right? That's a sign of being a starseed. Another sign of being a starseed is if as a child you felt more aware or really more intelligent than your adult or superior counterparts. Meaning, let's say you heard your parents arguing or you heard, adults engaging in some conversation. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking like you have the answers or you have the intuitive wisdom and you're thinking, this literally doesn't make sense. Like, why are they talking about this? So you've always been wise beyond your years. Another sign of being a starseed is you have a sort of resiliency to you. And this is, okay, I'm hearing this really applies to advanced souls who have incarnated into lineages that come with a lot of vibrational and ancestral baggage. So you've agreed to take on a lot of distortion that you've inherited through your DNA. But so ultimately you can neutralize and activate that DNA, allowing the DNA to become viable for ascension again. Okay. And that just means allowing the DNA to upgrade so that more light encoded information can be stored and thus the being and the lineage be able to operate in higher consciousness. So you're resilient. Maybe you've been through a lot. Maybe there's a lot of distortion and chaos in your family line. And although it's been challenging, it has not broken you. And you are slowly but surely coming out of it on top. That's because this is in your soul's mastery. Keep going, dear ones. Keep going. Okay. A lot of love and encouragement coming through there. Another sign of being a starseed is you've always been fascinated with movies about space, Interstellar, Star Trek, Star Wars, anything that has to do with the stars, right? Because it reminds you of home. I can remember when I was about maybe 19, me and my best friend, we were like looking up at the stars at night. We were like laid out in the grass. We went through our spiritual awakening together, which was so beneficial for me because you need somebody to laugh about all of it with. And we're looking up at the stars and I can just remember this feeling, this sense of, I'm from up there. I'm from up there. There's something beyond. So you've always believed in extraterrestrial life. You never not once did not believe that, or when that information came into your field, you accepted it. You didn't need evidence. You didn't need research. You didn't need proof because it's a knowing encoded within your being. Okay. So there's so many other signs of being a starseed. Now, what we want to do is help you work through some of the challenges. Okay. Some of the challenges being just feeling different. Some starseeds really struggle with depression because you're in a lower vibrational place and you're a little bit homesick. Some starseeds struggle with grounding higher intelligence into practical life. So you have to work out, right? None of us can get around that source of saying you have to have a proper diet, exercise, and supplemental routine and system for your unique physical body. Now, for many of us, food and all of that was not something we had to worry about, right? We can teleport, we can consume light and energy to sustain ourselves. So it can be a little bit overwhelming to be human when you've been in these higher forms for so long, right? We're so used to just doing things in an easier way. So if you're someone who struggles with that, I'm hearing routine for you is very important. It's also very important that you surround yourself with people that it reinforce you being different and unique as a good thing. Okay. Because you already feel different in and of yourself because you have a different energetic signature. So you want to be around people who vibrate in love, in light. Okay. Sources coming in right now and going, really, you don't want to make excuses for people because as someone who's extremely sensitive to energy, you will be absorbed until you reach a certain point of mastery where you can neutralize that and it doesn't bother you. If you're still in a state of stabilizing your own self, gaining balance from some chaos or whatever in your life, You have to surround yourself around people who vibrate in a higher frequency. Now, this leads us to our next thing, which is isolation. So oftentimes as starseeds, we may isolate ourselves for this very reason. We don't feel comfortable being around people because we're so sensitive to their energy and we can just feel the distortion in the field. So if you're someone that's isolating yourself and you're struggling with that, okay, Source wants you to find a hobby. Source wants you to find a hobby. Now, this last struggle we're going to talk about is the integration. So we want you to understand how all of this works together. You have source consciousness, okay? That's your highest self. That's the formlessness before form. That's the you before any incarnation, expression, any manifestation as being a particular being, plant, animal, spirit, etc. Okay? That is your highest self. That is pure energy. Then you have these multidimensional aspects. So then you have your human self. So you are a tri-consciousness. Really, we're omni-consciousness, meaning everywhere in all directions all the time. But the integration process, and this was what took me about 2 years. It was really difficult to integrate my human with my galactic self, with my source self. Meaning, okay, I'm source, but I'm also these multidimensional aspects, but I'm also this human. And all of this is being filtered through this identity as a human. Okay, so if you're feeling confused, overwhelmed right now, that's okay. It's a part of the process, right? You're still settling into understanding the full scope of your being, that you're all of these things at once. And when this fully integrates, you will be grounded. So when people meet me, they're very surprised by how grounded I am. You know, I talk about interdimensional things and galactic communication and channeling and all of these things, you know, very naturally. However, I also live a very normal human life. Like after this video, I'm going to a rooftop with my husband, right? I'm going to get in my whip. I'm going to get in my Tesla. I'm going to go out to eat. I'm going to have a great time. I might even have a glass of wine. I'm going to have a great meal. I'm going to listen to phenomenal music. Okay, so this is the integration that many people are struggling with. You are human right now. Enjoy being human. Enjoy everything that comes with being human. And it'll get to a point where it's just normal and natural for all of these aspects of you to be a natural part of who you are. You won't feel like you're compartmentalizing. You won't feel like you're being split in all these different directions. It will just all cohesively flow. So meditation can assist you with that. Proper diet again is coming up, and having fun. Dear ones, this is the message that we leave you with today. Have fun with your human experience. There's so much beauty to be experienced on your beautiful planet Gaia. She has so much to offer. She offers you so many wonderful opportunities for expansion and beauty and play and co-creation with each other. And so we, the Galactic Federation, is saying we do not look at life on Earth as being less than any other forms of life and experience on other planets, on other worlds, on motherships, etc. No matter the technology, no matter the level of consciousness, you're simply in a state of evolution. Now, why you have brought yourself here is to be the example. So some of you don't know what to do with yourselves. You don't know what to do. Have fun, find your passion, and co-create with Source. That's what you're showing humans how to do. You're not necessarily here to save them. You're here to be an example, okay? You've implanted yourself here to anchor a specific energetic blueprint and vibration, especially through, you know, if you're having children, you're activating that new sequence in the DNA as well, so that your lineage and future generations can have access to this higher consciousness, which you're operating in or could be operating in right now. You deserve to be wealthy and abundant. You deserve to be with the love of your life. You deserve to have beautiful experiences. You deserve to have a thriving career or business or however you want to use your time. Okay. We're shifting you out of the frequency that Earth is a bad place and that this is a place you need to escape. The true mastery is that this is a place that you need to learn to love. That is what will make you a master, is that you can be surrounded by duality and polar frequencies, but find your grounding. Find your grounding. And so we send love, encouragement, peace, and blessings from the stars and beyond.